Hello everyone, welcome to another Let's Playthrough with me, your host Tim, and today we will be playing through the Occult Chronicles. The Occult Chronicles is a game made by Vic Davis, the same gentleman who made Armageddon Empires, and I believe is hosted, you can purchase it, at Cryptic Comet. I bought this game years ago when it was first released, and I think it got a few patches since then, but I haven't touched it in a little bit of time. I recently began playing it. My friend Chris and I came over, recorded a small section of it, and I'd like to do one more session with him, but in the meantime I thought it'd be fun just to play another version that's a little more serious than the one Chris and I are playing. So, in case this one gets uploaded first, we'll still go over character creation and what have you with you guys. With that said, there'll be a link here so that you can skip character creation if you don't care about me explaining what's going on and get right into the game. I also will explain what's going on in the game as well. It uses a bunch of, how should I describe it? The nomenclature that this is going to use can be a bit tricky, pun intended, and you'll see a little bit later. And it's somewhat confusing as to which skills are good and which ones you might not want to take. I myself still haven't figured it out. But with all that said, I think we're ready to start a new game. This is going to feel very much like a board game, by the way, just as a heads up, like a single-player board game, and in particular, a single-player version of Arkham Horror, if you're familiar with that game from Fantasy Flight. Okay, I think we're good so far. I'm going to check my recording and see how it came out, and we'll be right back to start a new game. Okay, everyone, sounds like it's coming okay. My breakfast is cooking, so I've got maybe like 15 minutes before I need to go and check on it. That should be enough time for me to run down through character creation, and maybe take a few steps around in the game. Let's go ahead and select a new game. So the first thing we need to do is we'll need to select a mission that we want to do. This will be our main objective. You see, the stage we'll be playing is more or less, well, it's randomly generated, but it will have the same theme and many of the same encounters. It would be like Armageddon Empires, with how the board is randomly generated, but you can still expect to find some of the same things in it. That's in this case. The mission, however, will theme certain creatures and certain encounters a specific way. We might encounter cultists in one of them, whereas the other one we might fight a lot of undead, or even aliens, for example. So I think to start, why don't we... You know what? Let's pick, I don't know. Let's try picking Strange Lights, because I'm currently doing this one with my one character, and I like it, so we'll give this one a shot. So, here's our mission. Strange Lights. Reports of weird lights in the sky, missing livestock, strange crop circles, and pilfering from the local industrial facilities have prompted the Odd to send out a recon team to investigate. Odd, by the way, is right here. Occult Defense Directorate. That team consists of me. Once again, I have drawn the short end of the stick. While most of your fellow agents are away on Operation Clondethu, you have to do the thankless grunt work in the field. Your assignment is to visit a long-abandoned Heineck house and report any suspicious or unusual findings. Next, we have a story speed. Now, I've never beaten the game. In fact, the story is never finished because I die. All the time. All the time. All the time I die in this game. Whereas games like Armageddon Empires or... what's the other one he made? Solium Infernum. Well, those ones, at least, you have a fighting chance. In this one, I really feel that the game's against you right from the start. So, and the longer it goes on, the greater a chance you have of losing. At least that's my opinion of it, which is what makes it awesome, because we're going to do so bad. That needs to say, I'm going to pick a story speed of slow, so I can take my time and wander around the mansion. You can even disable the story if you don't want it to happen whatsoever, but I'm going to pick a slow story speed. We'll explain some of this in the game when we see our in-game user interface. Difficulty, I like playing Agent. Agent is the average, I suppose you should say. I'm an average guy. I like playing average games. We're going to play an average difficulty. Agent. Game mode, Reaper. Reaper is roguelike. You cannot save or load the game. We are totally not doing that. We're going to play on normal here. Mostly because we're going to die so often that, well, quite frankly, I would like to reload the game occasionally. I won't abuse the load system, and I will give myself 3 reloads. Just 3 of them, as a heads up. You can expect me to use maybe one of them on a quest reward if I get absolutely nothing on one of them. Otherwise, they'll get me out of 2 insta-deaths, or 2 deaths, by horrible things, and then That's it for our character. I hate save scumming, or rather, I love it because I tend to do it off camera a lot whenever I play games by myself. But that won't be the case when I upload this. So, giving myself 3 reloads. All right, here we go. Next. Okay, this is our character creation. We can pick different pictures here. I'm currently playing my own game as a wizard, and I really like it. It's a lot of fun, but it's making it a little easy. That's kind of weird, right? So we're going to play a different type of character that I'm not familiar with. And let's pick... I think we'll pick this guy with the machine gun. So first off, we need a name for our gentleman. We'll name him Lotaeri. Why not? I gotta get used to start taking advantage of my channel's name. Okay, so we have a name. Next, what type of character do we want him to be? Well, he's got a gun, and I'm not used to using melee characters in this. I'm sorry, a ranged character, so we'll pick a ranged character. So let's see what we want to be. We can be a mercenary. Yeah, let's be a merc. A soldier's also pretty good, I think. They're both decent. Actually, we'll be the soldier, because I start with the guaranteed ranged weapon. So that's good, we'll start with this. So, here we are. We saw it all in the Great War. You've been shot, bayoneted, and gassed while witnessing the horrors of man's inhumanity to man firsthand. We emerged from the charnel house stronger and more determined than ever to find the meaning in life. The ODD seems to be the best place for now. We start with a bonus swords. This is basically a d6 dice. We get 2 random combat edges, which will probably use swords, 1 random combat heroic feat, 1 random weapon, a random air talisman, and +1 to our sword skill. Now, what on earth does all this mean? Okay. Well, the best thing to do is describe it in-game, okay? Believe it or not, we're going to go over it in-game rather than explain it all now, because it'd be far easier to have the graphic here so you can at least see it. So we'll select that. Next, we get a starting bone. Well, we're already starting with the swords bone from soldier. Do not yet. Your soldier background already provides you with a bone of swords. Do not pick the same bone that you have in your background. If you pick your starting bone first, do not pick a background that gives you the same bone. You're going to wait. You are playing the game with half of your body, like someone took a chainsaw and sliced you down vertically. It is that difficult to play the game without a different bone. Please make sure you select a different one. We're going to select cups, because cups and swords play nicely in with each other. Bones of cups are used primarily for heroic feats. Many heroic feats cannot be performed unless you have a bone of cups. Bones of swords are used primarily for melee items' special abilities. You must have a bone of swords to use a melee item's special abilities. Wands, psychic talents, and pentacles are spells. Next, we get a starting edge. So this is a special perk that we will benefit from. So since I'm thinking that we should probably pick something that uses cups, but I don't know what that will be. That's persuasion or deception. So, quick off the mark. Fleet, evade, or hide challenge. That could be useful against traps. Quick off the mark. What's latent reflexes do? It's a target level, start evade traps, challenge, or access level of the edge. Okay, let's pick lightning reflexes for us. So X is subtracted from the target level at the start of any evade traps challenge, where X is the level of the edge. If you don't know what this is like, Tim, what the hell does that mean? Don't worry, we'll get to it in game. Yep, and it will make. I understand it completely now, but if it's confusing, don't worry, we'll get to it. Next, we have 25 points to place in our character's starting stats. Health and sanity can be increased at a 1-to-1 ratio. These abilities increase progressively. It's going to be 1 point, then I think 3. So 1 point to take 1 point in these abilities, then it's going to be 3 points to take the next, then 6, then 9, then 10. 4 will be the maximum you can start with. We definitely want 1 point in everything to start here. That's at least going to give us a slight chance to do some of the things at the start. Next, so we know swords is basically melee and ranged weapons. And it can be considered your fist as well if you want to, or pistol whipping something. Cups is also combat, and in addition to our evade and how quick we are. Wands is our mental fortitude. Pentacles is our ability to cast spells. I like having 2 in everything to start, and then I think we should take another point in one of these. Soldier is going to give us +1 to swords, so why don't we take another +1 to cups? Then, I think we're going to take 2 insanity. Let's take 1 insanity and 2 in health. And this will be our starting character. I could lower both of these to 1 to take another point in swords. That would also be helpful, but we'll go with this. My points are probably too scattered, and I probably should put wands and pentacles down to 1 and take a point in swords, but we'll try this. Alright, let's start a game. I can smell the bacon cooking in the other room. Happy October, everyone. Or, this might go up around Halloween, so happy Halloween if I've done that around then. Today is October 3rd. When I'm recording this, and the hurricane that was supposed to come up the shore and hit me here in New Jersey is going way offshore, which I knew it would do anyway, because the European models totally said that was going to happen. Okay, here we are. So, let's go over the game now a little bit better, since now we're in-game, I have all this stuff to show you. So let's start with our person over here. So here we are. We have a little tape right there, just for thematic reasons. Here's our health. As you can see, our sanity, swords, cups, wands, pentacles. We have a sunburst, the sunburst, air swords. It has a 70% chance to appear with a 7% release chance. What the hell does that mean? Well, I'll explain that in a little bit, because it'll be far easier later. Here's our soldier card. As we get experience points in the game, we can spend it to increase these things we see here. We can see that we can spend... So, the way it works is that each point of experience we earned can be allocated to each of these circles that we see, in order from left to right. Once all the circles in a single row are filled, we will gain the bonus listed above it. So 3 experience points can be used to increase our swords +1. Here, 4 experience can be used to increase our swords +1. We can get a ranged edge with these 4 points, or 1 additional skill card, like our soldier that we picked here, by putting 5 points down here. Still with me? Some of these are random, by the way. In fact, when we level up some of them, it will change. So this one right here, increase swords +1, when we put 4 points in it, it might change, like increase cups +1, or increase cups wands +1. We don't know what it will do at the moment, but there you have it. These are our edges. We know all of these skills. We have rapid shot, quick draw, and lightning reflexes. So for example, lightning reflexes says, X is subtracted from the target level at the start of any evade traps challenge, where X is the level of the edge. Well, do you see the numbers on the card? Lightning reflexes is an edge, and it is level 1 out of a maximum of level 4. So this grants us a 1. Replace the X with the 1. So the number 1 is subtracted from the target level. So traps is currently a little easier for us. What does rapid shot do? Gain X additional uses of all pistol weapons in any combat challenges, where X is the level of the edge. So this is giving us 1 additional use of the pistol weapon in a combat challenge, so we can use the pistol twice. Quick draw, what's this doing? X is added to the bump down applied to any non-face trick cards, as a result where X is the level of the edge. So this can be used to reduce the level of a card that it might be a little higher than what we want it to be for a trick. Don't worry, we'll be going over tricks later. Next, all these weapons have a secondary ability. I think when we're in combat, I'll be able to... Oh no, I'm sorry, this is their ability. This is their ability. All right, ignore me. Here's our bones. We have a bone of cups and a bone of swords. We have 2 basically d6s. I don't understand why we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over there with the swords and cups next to it. I don't know why it's just not a... Why it just doesn't say d6. So I don't understand that. I think it's just to fill up the page. But we have 2 d6. These will be used sometimes for edges or feats or what have you. We have no clues. I will explain clues when we get one. And we have no starting quests. Other than we have our one mission, which is the stars, like the stars are at night. We have a single weapon. We have a Colt .45. That's right. This is what has the thing to it. So it's a ranged. It's a pistol. We can use it 3 times per challenge. The ammo requires ammo to fire. Is reloadable, and we're starting with 8 out of 15 ammo. It takes 2 through 15 ammo to use it. It has a special ability as well called Double Tap. It can be used when we use it. We will have this option in certain combats called Stopping Power. Don't worry, we'll explain this later. But what it does is to bump the card value down on a random revealed non-face trick card by 3, and we can only use it in combat. Again, a lot of us are like, Tim, what the hell? Don't worry, we'll be entering combat all too soon. You see these circles right here? These are the story tokens. The game will randomly draw a token at some point in the game, so I think it's based on your selection. We started slow speed, so maybe around every 50 to 60 turns in game, maybe a little longer, maybe a little less, it will draw a token. These will affect the game in some fashion, making things easier or harder. This is our map. We are on the main floor, and this entire graphic covers the main floor. There is an upstairs, there is a downstairs, there is a stairs below the downstairs, which is death. Do not fall down 2 floors or you are dead. That's all I can really say about that. Here we are, right here in the center of the map. We have circles around us. We can walk to any place which is adjacent, not diagonal to us. Purple circles are places we have not been. Orange circles are places we are, or sorry, we have been. It's kind of important because traps and or clue tokens could be in any of the purple spots. We could encounter moving question marks, which are creatures, or standard question marks or exclamation marks. Those will be encounters. Over here, we also have what we have as well. We have Reckless Charge, Heroic Feat, 1 use per challenge. Oh wow, look at us just charging into them. It costs 1 through 2 courage to use it. We have 10 courage. Requires 3 swords and 3 cups, which we have. And it requires us to possess at least 1 cups or 1 sword's bone. When we use it, we'll roll 1 bone and bump the card values down on X random, not yet revealed face trick cards, where X is the number of swords or cups rolled. Any cards that are wounds are doubled in the following phases. Okay, so if we fail really bad, we take a lot of hits. And that's my oven going off, everyone, so I'll be right back to explain the rest of this. See you in a few seconds. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to some more Occult Chronicles. It's actually been a few hours. I went out walking in the miserable weather people seem to hate. Nice, rainy, windy, cold, gray day with lots of fog. Perfect. Perfect day to play this game, too. Alright, so let's get walking. As we enter each spot, the spots next to those spots will end up being revealed to us as well. If there was something special, like an exclamation mark or a question mark, we might want to investigate it. Every spot also has a chance, well, hidden in this manner, there will be traps and there will be clues. When we find either of them, it gives me an opportunity to explain them, but any spot that's purple could have a trap or clue on it, technically. Let's check out that turned out light over here. Note that we can't walk in this direction. This is because this is elevated. Just, if you pay attention to the actual map, that will give you an idea of where you might or might not be able to walk. Alright, we're gonna check that single circle. I'm imagining this is a creaky hallway, just like alone in the dark. A pair of scything blades. This is a trap. Suddenly you look up and see 2 scything blades racing down the hallway at you. They are razor sharp and suspect that they might be able to cut you in half. Holy crap. Okay, everyone. This is pretty good. This actually looks like us, too. Alright, so this is our very first challenge. I'm just going to pick one of the things below, and then I'll explain what's happening when we get into the game. Okay, but I will read all this stuff here. So we're going to try, and this is the better option for us, and I'll explain why. We're going to instinctively twist over the blades. Acting on pure instinct, you attempt to twist and rotate over the waist-high blades. Encounter types: evade, trap. We can see we have a target of 5, 5 tricks, and 5 draw. Let's do it. Okay, so welcome to the challenge screen. We have to get 5 or more points during this challenge in order to successfully win. We have card draw. We had 5 card draw. These are the cards that we see down here. There were also 5 tricks. These are the cards that we see on the board up here. What's going to happen is, and the way the game is played, is that it's a deck of cards, but instead of the suits being clubs, spades, hearts, and diamonds, it's swords, cups, wands, and pentacles. These suits I would say the face cards, which would be the equivalent of the Jack, Queen, and King, in this one are pages, the Knight, a Queen, a King. Aces count as 1 point at all times, and they do not beat Kings. They are the worst card to draw. What's going to happen is that we need to flip over these cards. As we flip over each card, well, let's start flipping them over, and I'll address what's happening to us. So here we go. Okay, so we just flipped over one of our tricks. It's a 6 of cups. We have cups down here. We need to play one of these cups before we can flip over any of these other tricks. So I have to either play the 4 or the 10. Well, playing the 4 on top of the 6 means that we lose, at least for this one single trick, because the 4 is worth less than the 6 is. But the 10 will beat the 6, so let's play it. And that gives us 2 points. I believe every time that a non-face card, or that's a non-Jack, Queen, King, for example, is played over another non-face card, because that's the only thing you can probably beat, we will gain 2 points. One for the card we played, and one for the card we beat. There's a King of Cups. Good. Well, I guess it's okay that we got him now. So let's go ahead and play the 4. We have no choice but to play it. You don't lose points for losing one of these trick challenges, but you lose a card, obviously, when you do that. 6 of Wands. Well, we got a 10. We need one more success. Hopefully there's a Pentacles up here. And there was not, so we fail this challenge. Failure. You misjudge your acrobatic leap and get clipped. You aren't sure how bad it is. You now have to... So this is the reward screen. Our reward will be taking damage. Some of these cards have no effect. Some of them will have... Well, it'll hurt if we draw over wound cards. Depending upon how poorly you did, it will affect the number of picks you're forced to take. We must draw one card from these that are face down in front of us. This also is fantastic because it gives me a chance to explain this symbol. There's a 70% chance that when we get a reward screen, either a positive or negative, I think this is mostly negative is when this will show up, that we could have our symbol show up on one of the cards. What that means is that we can pick this card, and if it was a bad card, this symbol will absorb the hit for us. However, if it did so, there is a 7% chance that it will vanish after use. I'm not going to pick it because we're on the first floor, and I don't mind so much taking a little bit of damage this early, which is a good thing because we took 1 point of damage. Anyway, that was a challenge. All challenges work that way in this game. Every single one of them, to my knowledge. This looks like a toy room. Zombies. This is a wandering monster. You have come face to face with the living dead. Slow, ponderous, and mindless, zombies are still not to be underestimated. They can overwhelm you with numbers and be feasting on your entrails before you know it. We first have to make... So because this is a monster, we have to make a horror check. Resist the horror. Despite having dispatched quite a few of these undead automatons, they still creep us out. Alright, well hopefully there's some cups up there, because otherwise we're not going to win this one. We lost. Badly. Your mind is weak. You struggle to maintain your sanity. We have to draw 3 cards here. Before you fight any creature, or generally before you encounter anything, you're going to have to make a horror check. We will probably have a hard time passing those. Zombies. Zombies! You hate these guys. This place certainly knows how to keep you on your toes. Just don't build a summer house here. We can use our stopping power, which is... That uses wands? Okay, well that uses wands as the card draw. That's interesting. However, as you can see, we have 3 swords and 3 cups, so we're probably better off trying one of these. This one's fleeing. I'm going to try to just attack them, but I'm not going to use bullets if I can help it. So let's try this. We're going to attack the zombies. Just remember to aim for the head. Encounter types, combat, and undead. So we pick this. We have the option to use our reckless charge. Raise requires 3 cups, 3 swords, requires you possess 1 bone. Let's see, I can't use this in this challenge apparently. And how many card draw do I have? I'm fine with what I've got. I'm not going to use heroic charge. That stinks. Alright, so we're forced to play the 8 to counter the page. Nice. We actually, I think we'll win this. We have a queen, which will beat the page. The queen is worth 3, 4, 5 points, I think, or 4 points by herself, and the page is worth 3. So this should let us win. Oh, exactly what we needed. Victory! You won the battle. The dismembered zombie bodies still twitch around on the floor, putting on quite a show. We get to draw 2 reward cards. Hopefully these will be good ones for us. Oh, that was wonderful. Wow, that's kind of hard to do. Generally, out of the cards you have here, for easy challenges like those zombies, there's probably 1 or 2 good cards out of the lot of them. Hey, we found a clue! -2 target level. So let's look at what clues do. Clue. Strange noises. You hear odd high-pitched sounds coming from the floor below your feet. They seem to resonate throughout the walls of the entire house. -2 target level. The target level for the final encounter challenge is adjusted by -2. Interesting. So whatever it is, it's probably below us. Okay, well, let's keep to our left. This is a special encounter of some sort. Guess we might as well check it out. Something of interest catches your attention, but you will need to get closer to identify what it is. A disturbing tapestry. Your attention is drawn to an old tapestry hanging on the wall that depicts a medieval battle of some sort. It looks like it should be in a museum. This belongs in a museum! Examining the battle scene a little closer, you immediately notice the large red hand that divides the 2 groups of armored knights. Suddenly the battle seems to come to life. Knights charge the hand on both sides and are knocked to the ground. You stare at it in amazement, wondering if you are hallucinating. Resist the horror. Oof, hopefully there's a sword. We're going to need it to win. Hey! Whew, we do win, thank goodness. Success! Your mind is strong. You have seen far worse than this. You remember the night that you spent in the museum at the Miskatonic University. If you could survive that, then this should be no problem. We get 2 successes. Come on, sanity. Nothing. Disturbing tapestry. The tapestry is obviously animated by some type of sorcery. It might even be possessed by some malign spirit. You should proceed with caution. It isn't unheard of for something like this to function as a doorway or portal to another dimension. Once in, you might not get back out. We can shoot the tapestry, which is a terrible idea. We don't have sorcery to unravel it, and we won't destroy it's highly unlikely we will be able to destroy it by tearing it down, so we'll have to leave it alone. Wow, we actually have I'd argue that this one's even stronger than shooting it. We could shoot the tapestry. Yeah, so we'll just leave it alone. It's probably part of a quest. So it will stay here, and now if we hover over it, we'll be able to forever tell what that was. That's a lot of chalk. Oh, that leads up. Okay, well, we're not really ready for that. That doesn't look good whatsoever. Looks like a storage room. Looks like there's a scythe over there. Nothing in there, though. A flood of rats. At first you hear the telltale scratching and scuttling of noises. Rats. Probably in the walls, you think. Without any further warning, a veritable tide of rats floods out towards you. Resist the horror. You have heard stories about rats in the walls, but you were unprepared for this. You wonder if they really can take a man down to bones in a few minutes. Not a bad hand. Well, actually, it is a... it's not the worst hand, I suppose I should say. Oh, a King of Pentacles. We can't beat that with the Queen, but thankfully we have a 6. So we can play that. And we still won. Your mind is strong. We have seen far worse than this. 2 successes, so maybe... Hey, 1 sanity. The rats come towards you like an immovable force of nature. There must be 100 of them. If they overwhelm you, you fear that you might not be able to get back up. Stopping power actually has a pretty decent chance to stop them. Oof. Well, our card draw is so low. We need a point in wands right away if I'm able to somehow do that. Let's just attack the rats. We have to. In this case, I'd rather not play the king, but I have to. I have no choice. I can't flip over any other cards until I address the fact there's a Pentacles tricks displayed. But this will still let us win. Victory! You kill dozens, wound even more, and fling yet more away. At some point, they seem to break, like they were being controlled by a single will, and then scatter and flee. Come back for that. What do you guys think? This place is going to feel very haunted housey. Most of the rooms are kind of unique like that one is. It will still feel like a house, but there will be rooms that it's very weird. Like a mortuary might be in one, or a experimental it's like science chamber in another. This looks like a reading room. I see a lounge chair, a sofa, quite a few desks, or little side tables. A living gargoyle statue. Your attention is drawn to a large stone statue of a truly horrific and bizarre-looking gargoyle. It sits on a pedestal with its arms wrapped around its legs. You feel a sudden shock shoot down your spine as it notices its eyelids blink open. Resist the horror. The stone statue is alive. You fight to control a growing tide of fear that is sweeping over you. We can't... Unless we get extremely lucky, we're going to fail this. Your mind is weak. You wonder what fell sorcery could animate this statue. You start to shiver and shake as your courage and sanity start to slip away. 4 cards. Wow. The gargoyle stretches itself out and unfurls its wings. You notice its razor-sharp claws. Before you realize it, it moves to attack you. We might be able to attack it and destroy it. We can probably also flee it. But while I'm here, I like to end it, so... Target 3, but only 4 draw. We'll try shooting it. We won. You won the battle. The gargoyle falls to the floor and shatters into small pieces. Nice. Those were experience points. So the only way you earn them in the game is by finding them in a reward challenge. We picked up 2 points. We'll need at least 3 if you want to increase our stats somewhat. This is a very dangerous room. You You have to pass a decent check, or you'll end up falling to the floor below. We are not ready for the floor below whatsoever. We will die horribly there. The ghostly ball. Oh, it's a ballroom in here. Suddenly in front of you materialize a group of figures dressed in suits and evening gowns, waltzing with partners unhappily around the room. The surprise appearance from thin air catches you off guard and startles you. Oh, I should have read that. The ghostly ball is silent and disquieting. You struggle to keep your composure. The deathly silence that encompasses this ghostly ball strikes you as odd. Although the ghosts themselves seem oblivious to your presence, you feel a definite tension in the air. The ghosts themselves seem quite displeased about something. It doesn't appear to have anything to do with you. Then you realize what's so odd. None of the ghosts are dancing. They start to partner up, but then each time the dance is set to begin, nothing happens. We can try to communicate with the ghosts. We don't have a good chance of succeeding, but we can try. You decide to use your training as a medium to make contact and find out what seems to be troubling them. There's always a risk with this type of action. And we succeed. You make the rounds from couple to couple until you find one that wants to talk. There seems to be a problem with the ball. Maybe you can help? Our first quest. Find the missing pianists for the ghostly ball. It's been suggested he might be near the piano. Return to the ghost ball once the pianist has been located and inform that the ball is waiting on him. We also get 2 more picks. The ghosts explain that the band will not play without its pianists and that they have no idea where the fellow is. You hear a chubby old monocle wearing ghost sitting near the wall chuckle, with his piano, of course. You contemplate the ghost's meaning, and you suspect that a piano will indeed be the key to this mystery. Down. Okay, this is a very interesting layout. A row of talking busts. You notice a row of sculpted marble busts against the wall. You count 4 until you notice that one has fallen to the floor and is subsequently cracked in half. A sudden chill comes over you as you watch in amazement as the faces on the busts begin to move. Lips pucker and cheeks flex as if they were warming up for something. And then they begin to sing. Resist the horror. You hold your hands to your ears, but the ghostly singing will not cease. Some jingle about grim-greening ghosts flows from their lips, and you just wish the noise would stop. It might drive you crazy if it doesn't. We did barely win. Success! Your mind is strong. You start grinning right back at them, and it seems to annoy them greatly. The chorus of talking heads continues unabated, even though it has no further effect on you. The heads seem to be having too good a time to stop. You are certain that some sorcerous curse has bound spirits to these busts as some form of punishment. Just who was being punished, though, is open question. We can shoot them. That's not a good chance. Destroying them is also a bad idea. We can't really use sorcery either. And we can't engage it in a psychic duel. Yeah, we can't win any of these. But they're here. Oh, that's interesting. What is this room? I see utensils. Looks like painting. It's a painting room. Haunted suit of armor. Your attention is drawn to an old suit of armor standing guard in the gloom. As you strain to make out its features, you realize something is terribly wrong. A sudden chill shoots down your spine and a sense of dread engulfs you. There is dark sorcery involved in this, and it nibbles at your sanity. Your eyes widen in disbelief as the cursed armor turns to meet your gaze. You must fight to keep your sanity. Thankfully we had a king, because the rest of our hand was terrible. Your mind is strong. You've seen far worse things than this. The haunted suit of armor is animated by some evil sorceress artifice. Such a curse requires great power and forbidden knowledge. Its gaze is locked on you, and you sense an intelligence of some sort. We can try talking to it. It's not a good chance, but it's not exactly... Well, actually, it's pretty miserable. We can also try to fight it, but let's try talking to it. You sense a keen intelligence before you. An aura of sadness permeates its very being. You also sense desire. Perhaps you can figure out what, if anything, this cursed suit wants. Wow, what a miserable hand. You attempt to make contact with the haunted armor, but your efforts fail. When we fail a challenge, and we have a chance to do it again, it gets slightly better for us. And this time, we'll try it one more time. We're going to get one more trick and one more draw. It's a queen. There's no reason to stop, by the way. Midway, once you've won, keep playing the game here. There's no reason to not play cards unless you have some effect or edge which lets you win. Like, not play cards. Because the better you do, the more cards you draw. Here, we won by 7. We'll probably draw 3 to 4 victory cards. The intelligence speaks to you. The sadness and anguish are nearly overwhelming, but you understand that it wants you to break its curse. 500 years ago, a Sabbatic witch stripped a knight's soul from his body, sealed it into the armor, and bound the key within a small glass bead. The bead was taken by a common thief who perished in this house 30 years ago. The haunted armor cannot use the key itself, but perhaps you can. We get the quest, and we get 4 more picks. Okay, so we have 2 quests now to turn in. That's all in this area, too, so now we have to double all the way back. I could try leaping over this, but there's no reason to. There's nothing on the other side of that. That's actually the first time I've seen it not actually spawn another area. Right, there were no other doors over here. Yep. Alright, well... I'm avoiding this space. These 2 spaces sometimes, or even these 2, have a nasty trap, which can pretty much kill you. Nice carpeted hallway. A zombie patient. Your attention is drawn to an old iron bed that seems to have a large lump lying under some old dirty covers. You approach carefully and notice the shape of a body. A blanket is pulled up over the body's head. Curious at what is underneath, you slowly pull back the cover. A grizzled corpse, perhaps a patient who passed away, lies on the bed. Suddenly it turns its head towards you and hisses. Your eyes widen in disbelief as the undead patient rises from its hospital bed. Oh, this is a good hand. Whew, that will help us win. I was even lucky that the tricks were what we needed. Your mind is strong. You have seen far worse than this. Come on, I need more sanity. The undead patient sits up and then turns and plants its feet on the floor. You are certain that it's upset about a lot more than its hospital bill. Well, it's in our best to fight it. In our best interest to fight it. This way. So this creature might be able to chase us around. So we're going to just try to kill it. Attack the zombie patient. You know how to handle the undead. That's one of the first things that they teach you at the Odd Academy. Destroy or disable what's left of the brain, and you should be just fine. Oh, terrible hand. The best thing I can do is hope to not take too much damage. This thing's pretty tough for an old sick zombie. You had better be careful, you might catch something. One more time. We'll try this again. We've had... Come on, game. We need a lot better than this. This is terrible.